Hello family, we are here with a new comprehensive and detailed tutorial, and this one has a lot of learning, so it is extremely important that you stay until the end so you can resolve many doubts. When Mali, my model for today, arrived and I saw her hair, I just said, you know what, really? I'm going to document you if you don't mind, if you allow me, because I have read a lot of comments about these particular problems you have, whether it's just at the beauty salon or you applied dyes and they didn't turn out as you expected. I am going to introduce you to Mali so she can tell us about the procedures she has undergone.
Okay, good day. So first, I had always gone to beauty salons and I tried another one. Then they applied a dye and I didn't like it. They left it, I don't know how to say it, patchy. Yes, I didn't like it. So they told me you can do it yourself at home, just mix these. They gave me numbers, they gave me the peroxide, and so I started doing it at home, sometimes with the help of my mom, sometimes with the help of a friend or something like that. And well, this is the result, this is how it turned out. And so I came here for them to do a nice job.
So tell me, what dye were you using and with what developer?
Approximately 40 oxidizers, 48.0 or something like that. 8.1, because they tell me we don't have it, they tell me which one in the store, and I apply the one they told me.
I read a lot of the comments you guys leave, like my hair really turns orange. I don't like the yellow it actually turned out. I apply an oxidizer to lighten it. I want an ashy tone and it always ends up with this kind of reflection. I have mentioned to you previously that I have a comprehensive playlist where I am giving, you could say, detailed colorimetry classes so that you can thoroughly learn to solve these types of problems. Mali's case is one I read about constantly in messages. She wants blonde hair, you say, right? You don't want it dark?
No, not orange either.
She doesn't want it dark or orange, no, which is what most people want at all, in any way. Here, the only way to eliminate the orange reflection and correct her hair, because she already has natural brown growth, has gray hair, has a slightly lighter section here, and has a dark band here. The only way to rectify this tone and remove the orange would be by performing a color extraction, which is a delicate process, and we would run the risk, because she has very sensitized hair, that in order for us to perform such an extraction might leave us with an unpleasant yellow. I am going to give you a technique that is simpler, but you will need the help of a professional if you have the same hair color characteristics as Mali. We are going to do many highlights to be able to carefully bleach the hair and have control without making it too sensitive, and precisely. And then we are going to carefully and precisely apply a dye at a level 6. This time we are definitely going to do the coloring, and then there will absolutely be a follow-up video where we will also do the haircut. Do not take too long with this explanation. We will go step by step. Remember, stay until the very end, because this video is extremely important for you if you have any doubts about how to correctly correct or remove a yellow or orange color. We will start with Mali with this color correction. I am going to apply the extreme softness treatment, which is the hydrating serum. It is important to apply this before any coloring, especially if you have a client with very dehydrated and porous hair like Mali. This will protect the hair strand. In Mali's case, I am going to section the hair in the way they are doing it. I am going to carefully separate the nape, the sides, and the crown, and precisely. The formula I am going to use for the highlights will be 3 caps of bleach plus 20 volume developer for roots to mid-lengths, which is a widely used technique by professional hair colorists. Additionally, I will add the intensive therapy ampoule for brittle hair, which allows me to maintain moisture in the hair. From mid-lengths to ends, I will meticulously use another formula, which is 3 scoops of bleach powder plus 10 volume developer. Because remember that Mali already has lightened mid-lengths to ends, and I don't want to risk breaking the hair. Additionally, we will also thoroughly and safely add the intensive therapy ampoule. We will start by doing the highlights from the front. Betty, I get asked a lot, why do you start from the front when you should start from the back? I like to start from the front to achieve better lightening. And remember that I always have support, so I like to start and have them constantly checking the highlights at the roots. I want you to notice that I applied the 20 volume formula. Always remember that I always do this. From mid-lengths to ends, I am carefully applying the 10 volume formula. The technique I am using on Mali is zigzag. It's a very thick zigzag because I want her hair to have a lot of beautiful highlights, since that's the way to eliminate the many colors Mali has. If you carefully and gently notice, I am leaving very little hair out. Here I actually want you to see I am using 20 volumes on the roots. It is very important to saturate completely and thoroughly to ensure good lightening properly. And from mid-lengths to ends, I am using the 10 volume formula to the hair and applying it. Here in this strand, I want you to see the dark band, the lighter middle, and the natural growth with the ends being even lighter, as you can clearly see distinctly. That is why we are definitely going to use 20 volumes on the roots here to absolutely clean all that up. I apply with 20 on all the dark areas, and Katie is helping me carefully and thoroughly. At the back, I saturate very thoroughly and perfectly well, and then apply the formula with 10 volumes from mid-lengths to ends, and so on. I go through Mali's entire head, applying the same technique to all the hair. A well-defined zigzag, leaving little hair out, and applying 20 volumes and then 10 on the ends. I make sure to be very careful and precise in every step, ensuring the entire process is meticulously done. In the back, I want you to take note of the fact that Katie is indeed also actually doing a very thick zigzag, as it is the only way to clean this hair with many highlights if you don't want to do a color extraction. This is a technique I definitely recommend when people absolutely want to go blonde, so they don't end up with yellow or orange tones. I highly recommend this technique. You just need to absolutely and essentially combine the bleach formula flawlessly. Remember, 20 volumes for the roots and 10 volumes for mid-lengths and ends to avoid further sensitizing the hair. At the crown area, the zigzag is still very thick. We leave a little more hair in the area and then apply the same formula and so on throughout the entire head. Katie is already examining the sides, and if you just look now, you can see the lightening is almost even. Here it is extremely important to check the ends very carefully. Remember that if the ends start to become delicate and sensitive, you need to clean them very thoroughly to stop the effect of the bleach, and apply a little more bleach on the roots, where the most thorough lightening is needed. In these tasks, I recommend always having the support of an assistant. If you observe in this strand that Kathy is reapplying the bleach, you can see an orange band there. That is why it is very important to constantly and carefully check the highlights throughout the process to achieve even lightening from roots to ends. Once the highlights are done, the entire process of pre-pigmentation follows. This step should absolutely not be skipped under any circumstances. Remember that it is important to pre-pigment to even out the strand's tone and achieve a more solid color, such as a uniform, rich shade. To pre-pigment Mali, I am going to use 6 and 34, a quarter of a tube, plus 35 ml of water, regular water, the kind you drink daily. You are going to mix it perfectly well. This formula should only be applied where the hair is light. At this moment, Katie is applying it. I want you to notice that she is not applying it to the roots, only from the mid-lengths to the ends, where the hair is blonde. If you do not perform this procedure in any way, you most certainly run the risk of the color fading quickly. It's very important that you apply it. Please don't skip this step. I have a video where I explain in extremely detailed with a chart how to choose the tones for pre-pigmentation. You can find it right here on my channel. Here is the exact frame from that video, and it is reviewing the highlights again. Open the aluminum foil, check, apply bleach if needed on the roots, remember it is 20 volumes, and apply on the ends if needed as well, and remember it is 10 volumes. So I definitely invite you to hit the bell and subscribe so you always get notified every single time I upload a new video. Once the pre-pigmentation process is finished, it's time to carefully apply the dye. I am going to use approximately 90 ml of 20 volume developer solution, plus around half a tube of 7.1 and also half of 7 natural. We are going to mix this formula very thoroughly and perfectly well. Here, Katie is going to apply the dye to the roots and ends, and she carefully applies the dye to the hair that is on the outside. Once the dye application is finished, we will give Mali an additional processing time with heat for 15 minutes. If you don't have a heat activator, you can leave it for approximately 30 or 35 minutes. As long as you are constantly and carefully checking the bleaching packets and the instructions so that you absolutely don't miss it. After that time, we will first remove the dye with plenty of water, ensuring it is thoroughly rinsed. If you notice, Katie presses the aluminum foils firmly and carefully so they don't come loose and is meticulously removing the dye first to avoid any potential staining of the bleached areas, thus effectively preventing the risk of the bleach darkening. Once the bleach is removed, we will thoroughly apply shampoo with a deep cleansing wash to eliminate all bleach residues. I want you to notice that, as you can see, Mali has a very golden discoloration, and we absolutely did not want to risk leaving it on for a longer period of time because her ends could get damaged. It is extremely important to stop the bleaching process before the hair starts to become extremely sensitive. To very carefully and thoroughly apply the tone formula, it is important to remove the excess water so that it is applied to damp and completely wet hair. I get asked often whether to apply the toner on wet or dry hair. It's important to apply it on wet hair to avoid the risk of getting greenish tones. The formula I am going to use with Mali, because I am going to do a global application of the shade, will be 140 ml of 10 volume developer plus 1.5 quarters of 10, 1 plus another 1.5 quarters of 10, 2 plus 3 centimeters of 012 intensifier. We mix it thoroughly and perfectly well and apply it evenly all over the hair. We will allow a duration for processing time of approximately 10 minutes. To remove the toner, we will use a blonde wash.
Remember that bleached hair necessitates special treatments to help maintain the tone and keep the hair looking hydrated, shiny, smooth, and healthy. Once the shampoo is thoroughly removed, it's time to carefully apply the intense blonde mask. With this, Mali will always have consistently well-hydrated hair with beautifully impeccable and vibrant color. To finish with Mali, we are going to apply a hydrating straightening treatment from mid-lengths to ends to achieve a perfect straight look. I recommend this treatment because it leaves the hair feeling amazing with an impeccable shine. Here we are already seeing Mali. I want you to notice that her hair no longer looks streaky. You can see the combination of the dark tone with the light tone. Remember that we didn't do a super bleaching on Mali because her hair didn't allow it, as it was very dehydrated from mid-lengths to ends, and we had to be very careful. It's important that you check how far you can go. You might not achieve the lightness you want, but it's better to stop a bleaching process than to end up with your hair in your hand. In the case of Mali, remember that we ended up with a golden base. We neutralized the coppery gold a bit, but that reflection still slightly predominates. Remember that we will have an upcoming video very soon, where we will absolutely give Mali a spectacular haircut. Thank you, family, for joining me in this video. I send you a big hug and many blessings. If you like this video, I invite you to share it so that many more people can clear up their doubts about this topic.